Good evening. This is All India Radio and I'm Saira Mujtaba with the news at 9. The headlines. Campaigning reaches a crescendo for Friday's assembly elections in Telangana and Rajasthan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges G20 countries to implement Hamburg Declaration, which demands firm action against terrorism. US-China trade talks made headway. Both countries pledged to continue negotiations to resolve trade disputes. UN conference on climate change begins in Poland. India wants the conference to address the challenges faced by developing countries. And in Men's Hockey World Cup, match between India and Belgium ends in a draw at Bhubaneswar. Hectic campaigning is on for Friday's assembly elections in Telangana and Rajasthan. Two states will go to polls on Friday. In Telangana, BJP has fielded party national president Amit Shah and several senior leaders to hold election rallies, roadshows at different places. Addressing an election rally at Narayanpet, Mr. Shah said BJP stands for development. He alleged that TRS government wasted crores of rupees of public money by dissolving the Telangana Assembly and opting for early polls. He said,
चंद्रशेखर राव के परिवार मोह ने तेलंगाना को सैकड़ों करोड़ों के चुनावी खर्चे में उतार दिया। तेलंगाना के अंदर चुनाव मई में लोकसभा के साथ होने वाले थे। अगर मई महीने में लोकसभा के साथ चुनाव होते तो तेलंगाना की जनता पर एक विधानसभा के चुनाव का खर्चा जो सैकड़ों करोड़ों होने जा रहा है वो नहीं होता।
Senior Congress leaders held roadshows at many places. Veerappa Moily attacked TRS government, saying that poverty, which came down in Telangana during Congress rule, has gone up again during the past few years. Speaking in Hyderabad, Kapil Sibal alleged that over 4,000 schools were closed during the TRS rule. He also alleged farmers' suicides have gone up in the state. The People's Alliance leaders also held joint roadshows in which TDP President Chandrababu Naidu and Ghulam Nabi Azad and DK Shivakumar are taking part. AIMIM President Asaduddin Owaisi has taken up campaigning in Charminar constituency. Our correspondent has filed this report.
Ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's scheduled public meeting at the Lal Bahadur Stadium in Hyderabad tomorrow, Amit Shah addressed a series of election rallies in Telangana today. Speaking at Suryapet, party senior leader Nitin Gadkari said the BJP will give utmost priority for employment, providing water and electricity besides road development. He assured people that roads will be developed at a cost of 1 lakh crore rupees in next 5 years in the state. TRS chief Chandrasekhar Rao has unveiled the party manifesto in which he assured people to increase retirement age of government employees from the current 58 years to 61 years. The Congress senior leaders also addressed election rallies at a number of places and held roadshows along with Chandrababu Naidu in Hyderabad. Lakshmi, AR News, Hyderabad.
In Rajasthan, top leaders of different political parties are holding public meetings at different places to woo the voters. More from our correspondent.
Both BJP and Congress have deputed many central leaders to lead the election campaign. Home Minister Rajnath Singh addressed a series of public meetings today at Bilala and Sojar. Addressing a rally in Bansur, Mr. Singh accused the Congress of creating a crisis of distrust in politics and claimed that there is a mismatch in their words and deeds. While former Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot accused BJP of mixing politics with other issues. He said that elections are like festivals and should be celebrated with brotherhood. Addressing a rally in Ahore, BSP Chief Mayawati said that both BJP and Congress are working for their political benefit. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Sunil Arora has taken over as Chief Election Commissioner of India this morning. Mr. Arora was appointed Election Commissioner in September 2017. He will have a nearly 2.5-year tenure as Chief Election Commissioner, with 2019 general elections to be conducted under his stewardship. After taking over, Mr. Arora said his priority is to conduct free and fair elections. Mr. Arora has served in several key positions as a bureaucrat, including Secretary, Information and Broadcasting, and Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and Chairman and Managing Director of Indian Airlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has stressed the need for G20 countries to carry out reforms in the World Trade Organization. He said in Buenos Aires that the 11-point agenda of the Hamburg Declaration, which demands firm action against terrorism, should be taken up in right earnest. India's G20 Sherpa Shaktikant Das also said that the Prime Minister put forth a 9-point action plan to bring fugitive economic offenders before law and seize their illegal assets. Mr. Modi also appealed to countries to join the International Solar Alliance to harness the energy which does not affect the environment. The Prime Minister also put forth the idea of a global coalition on disaster-resilient infrastructure and said India has already started working towards it. Mr. Modi also asserted that all G20 nations should honour the time frame to adopt the automatic information on taxation, as it has already started working on it. Concerns were expressed on the volatility of oil prices and called for a price stability since it affected domestic economy and brought about collateral damage in growing economies. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met FIFA President Gianni Infantino, who gifted him a football jersey with his name on its back. Mr. Modi met Infantino on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Buenos Aires yesterday. The Prime Minister shared a picture of the blue jersey with his name on the back on Twitter. Mr. Modi said it is impossible to come to Argentina and not think about football. He said Argentinian players are tremendously popular in India. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. You can also log on to our website newsonair.nic.in. The 24th meeting of Conference of Parties COP24 to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, or UNFCCC, has begun at Katowice, Poland today. The conference will continue till 14th of this month. COP24 is very significant as it is expected to finalize guidelines for implementation of the Paris Agreement adopted in 2016. Environment Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, who is leading a delegation, outlined India's expectations from the conference. He said India expects that COP24 should be able to frame guidelines which are pragmatic and gives due consideration to challenges and priorities of developing countries. The minister said the outcome of COP24 should be balanced, inclusive and consistent with the principles and provisions of Convention and its Paris Agreement. More from our correspondent.
India strongly supports the objective of the Paris Agreement to strengthen the global response to the threat of climate change by keeping the global temperature rise well below 2 degrees Celsius from pre-industrial revolution period. India considers it important as it is linked to the issue of poverty eradication. The agreement also focuses on developing countries' need to adapt to adverse impacts of climate change in a manner that it does not put an additional burden on them. During the COP24, India would like to highlight its concern for climate change and reaffirms its commitments to finalization of the Paris Agreement work program. Anand Kumar, AIR News, Delhi.
On the sidelines of COP24, India will be setting up a pavilion to create awareness about India's positive climate actions in various sectors of the economy. The theme of pavilion is One World, One Sun, One Grid, as highlighted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during the first assembly of the International Solar Alliance on 2nd of October this year. US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping have agreed not to impose new tariffs from 1st January 2019 and pledged to continue negotiations to seek a way out of the ongoing trade war. At the dinner meeting on the sidelines of G20 summit in Buenos Aires, President Trump agreed not to bring any new import tariffs on Chinese products. President Xi agreed to purchase a substantial amount of US products to reduce the trade deficit between the two countries. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said President Trump agreed to hold off on raising existing tariffs on $200 billion for 90 days, providing room for new talks for negotiations. In Sri Lanka, new Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has asserted that a general election is the only method to establish democracy in the country. Party of ousted Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has said it is ready for elections, but legitimate government should be established first. Mr. Rajapaksa said in a special statement today that stability would have been restored if things had gone according to Gazette notification issued by the President to dissolve Parliament and hold elections in January. Our correspondent has more details.
Mr. Rajapaksa in his statement asserted that Sri Lanka is the only country where some political parties are opposing elections. Mr. Wickremesinghe party has said that elections can only take place within a democratic framework. President Sirisena in an interview supported elections, saying it can be an immediate solution. However, if Supreme Court rules against the dissolution of Parliament, elections can be called only if 2/3 of MPs in Parliament approve of it. Meanwhile, the crucial meeting of United Nations Front with the President has been postponed till tomorrow evening. Santosh Kumar for AIR News from Colombo.
Bangladeshi ex-Prime Minister Khaleda Zia's nomination papers for contesting in the general election slated for December 30 were rejected today. An election commission spokesperson said Zia had filed nomination papers from 3 constituencies, but the returning officers scrapped her nominations as she was convicted by the court. The commission's decision came 4 days after the Bangladesh High Court ruled that a person jailed for more than 2 years cannot contest polls, effectively ruining Zia's chance to participate in the polls. The 73-year-old ex-premier is currently serving jail terms in 2 graft cases involving charities named after her slain husband, Zia-ur-Rahman. The joint exercise between Indian Air Force and United States Air Force will begin tomorrow. The 12-day exercise, X-Scope India 2018, has been planned at Kalaikund and Panagar Air Force Base in the country. Ministry of Defence in a statement said, the aim of the exercise is to provide operational exposure and undertake mutual exchange of best practices towards enhancing operational capability. It will be the 4th edition in the series of bilateral joint exercise held by the air forces of the 2 nations, which is conducted in India. Union Commerce and Industry Minister Suresh Prabhu has said the centre is working on a comprehensive strategy to attract medical tourists from different parts of the world to India. He was addressing an inaugural session of the 4th edition of India Heals at Advantage Healthcare India or AHCI 2018 in Mumbai today. He said the Government of India is committed to providing all kinds of help to patients visiting the country from various parts of the world. Mr. Prabhu said quality and affordable treatment will be provided to these patients. He also directed the stakeholders to ensure that the tourists who come from abroad to India should not be taken for a ride and they should not be hoodwinked in any way. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu has said infant and neonatal care in India has improved and called for reducing their mortality rates further. Inaugurating a hospital in Chennai this afternoon, he said the Union government's initiative to provide medical insurance to 10 crore needy families under the Ayushman Bharat scheme would improve maternal and child health indicators. He added the government's proposal to establish 1.5 lakh health and wellness centers across the country would also help to improve the health indices. Mr. Naidu said it is crucial for any developing nation like India to provide a healthy and happy childhood for its children. The News Services Division of All India Radio in its weekly bilingual live phone-in program, Public Speak Tomorrow, will bring you a discussion on Surakshit Bachpan Samarth Rashtra or Safe Childhood Strong Nation. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. Listeners can ask questions to the experts sitting in our studio on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. Repeat, 1800-115767. You can also ask questions on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This program is also available on Doordarshan DTH. In the Men's World Cup hockey, match between India and Belgium ended in a draw with both the teams scoring 2 goals each at Bhubaneswar in the Group C clash of the event. Belgium's Alexander Hendricks did a goal in the 9th minute, while for India, Harmanpreet converted a penalty corner into a goal in the 39th minute of the game. Simranjeet Singh did another goal in the 47th minute, but Gurnia Simon of Belgium equalized the score by a goal in the 56th minute. India currently sits at the top of Pool C following their stunning 5-0 victory over South Africa. Belgium, who had defeated Canada 2-1 in their first game, also have 3 points, but they are second in the group on goal difference. Earlier, a match between South Africa and Canada ended in a draw with score of 1 goal each. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Campaigning reaches a crescendo for Friday's assembly elections in Telangana and Rajasthan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges G20 countries to implement Hamburg Declaration, which demands firm action against terrorism. US-China trade talks make headway. Both countries pledge to continue negotiations to resolve trade disputes. UN Conference on Climate Change begins in Poland. India wants the conference to address the challenges faced by developing countries. And in Men's Hockey World Cup, match between India and Belgium ends in a draw at Bhubaneswar. That's all in the news at 9. Good night.